to introduce themselves, the ward they represent.
Councillor Alan Joseph from Hanworth Village.
Councillor Asha Tariq, Hanworth Village.
Councillor Vishnu Gurung from Hanworth Park Ward. Thank you.
Thank you, councillors. And now we will move on. The second item in agenda is the apologies for absence. Have we received any apologies for absence?
We've not received apologies, but we'll take apologies for lateness from Councillor Foote. Sorry, we've not received apologies, but we'll take apologies for lateness from Councillor Foote. Richard Foote, thanks.
Thank you, officer. And next item in agenda is minutes of the meeting held on 13th of March 2024 and any matter arising. Are we agreed with the minutes, councillors? Thank you. Any matter arising? It's better now? Yeah, everyone can hear me now. Yeah, just let us know if anyone cannot. Any matter arising? I don't think so. Is there any matter arising outside of the questions? Announcement. I have next item in agenda is announcement. I have some update and answers to questions that we have received previously by email at the last area forum. So can I pass on to the Jyoti? You will update it?
So who's reading this?
Yeah. Over to.
So sorry, we had a question from Nick Moore on the planning application for Power League, where they've asked for a crossing, and we've had a response from Finn Campbell from Traffic on this. So is Finn here? Thanks. Yeah.
Thank you. Hello. Good evening, everyone. I'm from the traffic team. I've got the following update from colleagues in the planning department. They've commented as follows. This is a live planning application which people can respond to, and I would encourage you to do so if you'd like your views to be taken into consideration before it's determined. We will be asking the developer about movements onto the site, including access for pedestrians. This feeds on into the ongoing request to TfL for improvements at Muller Roundabout. So I would just add to that, that is a live planning application. So if you go onto the Hounslow website, you can comment yourself. And the reference is P/2024/1036. And I'm sure we can circulate that around. Thank you.
Was that your question?
Okay, we've had a question about Lime bikes and the end of the trial, and there is information available for residents to read. Copies can be obtained from Emily. Thank you. So the only other one is for Sill for Bear Road. Is Lee Williams here? No. Okay, so we had an update from Lee Williams of Parks Project Manager, and he's provided an update that says, after recognising that the play provision was not of a good quality, the Parks team have secured Sill funding with consultation to begin this winter, and more information to come in due course. Thank you.
Thank you, Jyoti. And next item in agenda is open forum. So we have, how many? 30 minutes. So members of the public may raise matters of local concern. Please bear in mind the guidelines for public participation and that it may not be possible to have a detailed discussion or response at the meeting. Points raised will be noted and used to inform the work of the area forum. Any question from members, public? Yep.
You can't hear her clearly. Okay.
Can
We just need to be.
you can hear me now? Yeah, I don't know what's
Maybe
what's
just
wrong with
repeat
this
it
mic.
again, councillor, if that's okay.
Okay.
She's just going to repeat it again.
Yeah, first question over there. Here is a gentleman.
No, it's okay. She's doing her best. Just to account for the fact, obviously, Councillor Cameron is vice chair and she's covering for Councillor Foot today. So please bear with us as we do that today, everyone. If you can't hear her, just pop your hand up and we'll say it again. Thank you.
Can I read the protocol again?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Members of the public may raise concerns of local concern. Please bear in mind the guidelines for public participation and that it may not be possible to have a detailed discussion or a response at the meeting. Points raised will be noted and used to inform the work of the area forum. I think it's something wrong with the mic. I'm reading loud. Yeah. So first question is from over there. You.
This, but the area forum feedback survey, question 14 needs to be rewritten because of the problems with the the latest census details, where this question was asked and it caused a lot of confusion.
Thank you. I will pass on to the Emily.
Thomas will answer. Go on.
Okay, over to Thomas. Yep.
Hello? Yeah, so my name's Thomas. I'm going to do a presentation a little bit later. I'm the Community Development Manager. So Emily's one of my members of staff and my team put on the area forums across the borough. That demographic information, we took advice from our Qualities, Diversity and Inclusion team, who had advised us that that's the best way to ask that question. We will check it against the latest census stuff, so we'll definitely report back to the next forum to make sure that it is the most up-to-date. If we've caused offence for anyone, apologies.
1 second, Linda.
Yeah, if you don't want to answer it, you don't have to answer it. Yeah, that's very true.
Sorry, it's not answering it or not. It's just that on the latest census, that question caused a lot of people confusion.
Yeah.
They didn't know what you meant.
Yeah, we will double check that against the census and report back. But as far as, yeah, that's it. Thanks.
Thank you. Next question, anyone else want to ask? Come on, it's a half an hour. Anyone wants to ask? Yeah.
Yes, this is a new venue.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a comment. I only found out now there was a market. It's a different venue. It's not where previous ones you see everything. That's all. So maybe if it's held here again, it's a nice venue. That could be made clearer.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'll respond on that quickly. Sorry, Gideon. Most people were advised on the layout as they came in. I'm sorry if that slipped your mind, or we didn't show you. But yeah, we'll make that better. Thank you. Just to say about the venue, everybody, we struggled to find a venue in Hanworth Village and Central Hanworth Park this time for the forum. So I appreciate everybody that's made it here today to Staines. I know it's not the most accessible location for everyone. And obviously we've had a little bit of thoroughfare, directional issues. So thank you so much for the feedback. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. Any other question from residents? Yep.
Yeah, my question is about the minutes from the previous meetings that you have. How do you do the action points? So the minutes from the last meeting
Yep.
was...
It's on page number 7.
Yeah, so I've got the minutes from the last meeting, but you've not read it through and you've not answered any questions, what you followed up by.
It's not for public, I think. It's just for the...
Well, if you've got an open forum, then we would want an answer to what was asked, but you couldn't answer it at the forum. So the minutes should be read.
Some of those
and then
points have
said.
been answered in the announcements that we made. Those were some of the answers to the questions in the minutes there.
Yes, so that was some, but not all.
Right. And some are coming.
So then you should then let us know that it's coming then from the minutes.
Right.
Okay, I
So
now...
each part of the minute should be sectioned out. So section 1, section 2, and it should be crossed out, it's done, or it's to be followed on to the next meeting.
Okay, now I will pass on to the Fin. There is an update from the TFL update attached and the traffic update.
Thank you, Chair. I've got an update from TfL on matters raised. I think quite a few of them are a little bit long-standing, and there's quite a few here, so I'll just run through them all for you. The first item is flooding on the A316, slipway onto Bear Road from the underpass. So TfL have cleared the gullies there, and an update from Hounslow Highways on their side of the Bear Road is it's in the planned drainage programme and will be completed in the next 2 weeks. That one there as well. Next item is flooding on the stairway of the A316 overpass. The gully's been cleared there, and a gully channel survey will be undertaken when TfL have resources. Next item is the slip road onto Swan Road near the old allotment site. Curb edge has been cleared by debris by TfL, and vegetation has been cut back. And the removal of the shrubs is going to occur soon as well. On to roads and junctions. So Hounslow Road junction with Hampton Road, A314. TfL thanks for this matter being raised, and the engineering teams will have to look at lanes width as well. It's a little bit complex, the solutions here, so it might take a little bit of time and will require a detailed assessment, but they're aware of it and it has been raised. Moving on to bus stop requests as well. Towfield Road bus stop. TfL would be supportive of a shelter at this location if funding could be identified from a third-party source. So we'll continue as a transport team to work with them and see if there's any opportunity to support that as well. Any bus stop shelter would require a layout change to accommodate this as well. Stop AW, Sunningdale Avenue stop. They're not considering removing this stop. It's well used by the public with over 15,000 passengers a year using this. And they made the comment that they prioritise making the bus network as accessible as possible, ideally within 400 metres of all addresses in London. On to Stop AU, Pevensey Road stop. Unfortunately, the current layout doesn't support having a shelter. It would cause visibility issues for vehicles that are allowed to park on the pavement there. And that's all they've said on that one. Hounslow Road, Hanworth stop as well. This stop previously had a shelter with an advertising panel. This was replaced in 2016 to improve visibility for vehicles exiting onto the road, and they wouldn't be proposing to revisit it. If further detail could be shared with them, so if you've raised that issue, please reshare with them as well. Moving on to project updates, Hanworth Air Park and Leisure Centre crossing to Leitrim Park as well. TfL expect to be building the crossing during October half term, so Monday the 28th of October to Friday the 1st of November. Works will continue for a few weeks beyond that, depending on traffic management, which is still to be agreed, but the scheme's coming forward hopefully at the end of next month. And then on to the last update I've got from TfL in relation to Muller Roundabout. As per the last update they gave, TfL is struggling with resourcing this. They've said, and they need to overcome this first. The sponsorship team, which are the team that look into this, are trying to get an engineering resource allocated to the scheme. And as soon as this can happen, TfL can use the speed survey to specify where any additional signage or additional physical measures can be introduced. That's the update, Chair. Oh, and traffic update, sorry. I'm going to pass on to Emily, who's got the update there, if that's okay.
Thank you.
So these are quite lengthy, so I will go through quite quickly, and you're going to hear more updates on these in the action plan section, so 9 o'clock. Sorry, that's a little bit later in the agenda today as we've got a lot on. But I'll just tell you the highlights that you'll hear later in the action plan. So there'll be stuff on the green lane speeding and traffic calming request. You'll have stuff on the crossing at Swan Road, pavement parking, which we know has been improved by bollards. That the numerous requests around speeding in various areas in Hanworth, and an update on DPD vans. Other items that were raised at the area forum in March include speeding on Nellhead Road. Again, that's going to be updated in the action plan. The police have told us today that they have had 3 speed checks so far, and I'll let Councillor update on the rest of that. Green Lane was the second item. I've got Forest Road fly tipping. This has been raised with our enforcement team. If people are still seeing fly tipping in this area, please let us know if you've not already spoken to an enforcement colleague today, and we can talk to you about how to use Fix My Street. And if you are not online, we can help you do that. So there's other ways to report it. Hounslow Road. Sorry, not that one. Browse Lane, report of potholes. This has gone forward for assessment via Fix My Street, and that's our highways team. Satbear, have you got anything on Browse Lane potholes by any chance? Do you know if they've been assessed recently?
We carry out our routine safety inspections, and if there are, we carry out our routine safety inspections there quarterly, and if there are any defects which exceeds the investigatory level, we arrange to get them repaired. Yeah.
Another request around Winslow Way, potholes. So again, potholes have been reported via Fix My Street. Just to reiterate that is the best way to highlight something. The more we put on there, the better. And that means Satbear and his team can really get out there and assess them. I've been out on those walks, and they really do measure those potholes and check if they are ready to be filled. Let me see, next one. I think we talked about Roberts Roads. We talked about the crossing at Hounslow Road and the difficulties there. This needs to be re-highlighted with the traffic team, as again, we do have a crossing in that space already. There was more issues raised around Swan Road. Again, we're going to talk about that later in terms of the crossing and the bollards. More questions asked around the 316, the verges, the fly tipping on the slip roads. We've mentioned a little bit of that today. As we know, we've got Sabby from Highways here with us today, and we've updated on the sides of ownership there, which are the tricky problem with that. And we continue to challenge TfL on when things are going to be cleared. So please keep raising that on Fix My Street, or speak to an officer if you can't use that. There was lots of conversations around flooding. So as we say, the gullies have been cleared. The paths over the flyover, that is a TfL-owned structure, and we continue to work with them to find solutions to this. This is an extremely long-standing issue, and we're aware of it. I think, the last thing was the school coaches. We still are looking into that, and we're not entirely sure what the solution is. But I personally will work with Finn to take that back to traffic to see if we can work in a multi-agency way with the coaches, as they're not, or 99% of them aren't Hounslow coaches. They do come from out of the borough, so it would need to be a multi-agency approach. Thank you. Oh, I don't know whether you're taking questions.
Thank you, Emily and Finn. Before I will take question from the floor, I would like to say that Beer Gill will also be present from Hounslow Highways for question, as will traffic colleague. Refer to them if there is any question from related to traffic.
Just to check.
Now I will take question from the floor. Yeah.
Is it a question that everybody should listen to? Do you want to
Please give your name before you ask. Yeah, lady in the pink jumper.
Sylvia Allen. The pavement from where the what they call it, the Scout Hut,
Yeah.
popular. Well, to the High Street, the pavement on Lower Feltham, right up until past Tesco's, the pavements are so bad, even the crossing the roads there. I can't tell you that I've had 2 falls there in the last year because of the pavements and the roads. They're so bad.
Thank you, Sylvie. I'll be happy to take details of that, councillor, and we can visit and check it out.
Thank you, Emily. Next question is lady in the blue jumper.
Yeah, my name's Gaynor Bailey. As you're coming into Feltham, it'd be easy if the cars can go down Victoria Road the other way, because from Assembly Hall to get into Asda's car park and that, and going down to, on the way to Staines, it can take you half an hour. But they can cut through and now it go the other way, it'll take a lot of the pressure off all the traffic.
Thank you. Any officers from the highway would like to answer?
We can take that suggestion pass and back with me, and I can pass it on to engineering colleagues that look at road layouts and that, and we'll get you a response if that's okay.
Before it was okay, and then you changed it, and it's even worse for everyone going into to Feltham.
Yeah.
Is it okay if Editor responds, councillor?
Councillor Goering, a couple of years ago, attended to very similar queries. So I'm going to dig out the response from the team at that time, and maybe we can have a look if there is any changes in the situation in this road or the circumstances around the response. But that has been responded to the residents by Councillor Goering in intervention of the team.
Thank you, Edith. Next question is from Tina. Yep.
Hi, I'd like to ask about the HGV lorries coming off the 316 through the Hounslow Road. They're going through down to Godfrey Way. They shouldn't be coming down our road. How many are getting PCN'd? Because I'm told the foreign lorries can't be PCN'd, and yet we're getting up to 5 to 6 lorries in one go. They shouldn't be coming down there. So what is going to happen with that? This has been going on for a long time now. I've been in with Seth Twombly on this, and they're coming off the 316, going through and then coming back, and they're going along. And if you're walking down the road and go, you're not meant to, you get all kinds of abuse. So I can't count how many times I've taken pictures and reported.
Thank you. I will pass on to the Emily.
Thanks, Councillor Cameron. Tina, this is on our list of responses, and it was one that I've just sort of saw on the list there, but unfortunately I didn't have an update for today, and that's apologies from the traffic team. But it is on our radar. I was there when you spoke to Seth. Yeah. Because you've got the signage there, haven't you? Yeah. You follow that up with me and traffic, and we'll chase it for you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Nothing? Yeah. Nick Moore.
Could I ask about the current situation with pavement parking in Raleigh Way? I've brought this subject up several times. It has been acknowledged that the bay will be marked out fully, but nothing's happened. If it's possible to have an update as to when the pavement parking bay will be installed, because at the moment it is chaos at that end of Raleigh Way, because it is a one-way part of Raleigh Way. Thank you.
Thank you. Emily, you would like to answer?
So we visited.
Yeah, we already visited.
Yeah, we visited. So it was raised with our colleagues in Traffic and Transport, and we can follow that up with them because I was there when they promised you that this would be done. So we will pick it up with that specific colleague and get back to you because that is due an update.
I will chase it up and let you know. Thank you. Anyone else want to ask the question from the? Yep. Okay. Yeah.
Maggie Hickerson, following on from the Raleigh Way question, where the garage is, there's a post box, and the mechanics park the cars that they're going to work on west of the post box, side by side, blocking the pavement. Someone like me that uses a walker most of the time can't get through, and I have to go and get someone from the garage to come and move a car so that I can get through there. If I walk on the other side of Raleigh Way, there is no slope to cross into Queen's Avenue where I live. So I wondered if something can be said to the garage that they don't park the cars there. One day I was standing there waiting, and a traffic cop came along on a motorbike, and he started to write a ticket on one of the cars, and they came out and started arguing with him. So I left. So I don't know what the outcome is, but the cars are still parked there almost daily.
Thank you. We already had a site visit with officers and community safety. As I said it earlier, I will chase it up and let you know, both you and Nick. Thank you. Yeah, next question is the...
Yes, I know you're on this, but I think late April, early May, I showed the bus stops on Norlhead Road, Nalhead Road and Sunbury Way with Emily, Councillor Gurung and someone from planning. My concern is anyone getting off the H25 bus stop on Sunbury Way or coming over from the 290 bus stop on Norlhead Road. The issue is crossing Sunbury Way because where the bus stop is, there's a bend preceding it and a bush on the bend. Cars, as we know, are speeding there, and I'm worried someone who is elderly with a trolley, having done their shopping, and doesn't walk very fast or see very well, there's going to be an accident. I experienced that when I was without a car for 7 months. I'm driving again now, but I've been there. And you need your wits about you. You need to really peer out, look, make sure there isn't a car coming along, because they can go fast, too fast, on a 20-mile-per-hour road. And I would also recommend it be taken into consideration that the bush is removed altogether, because you'll be less blindsided. I know it'll make things more unsightly, but in my opinion, safety takes precedence. I think I've shown you the bush anyway. There's two people here.
Thank you. We will take it and get back to you. Thank you. Anyone else want to ask us? Yep, over there.
I'm James Gibson. I'm also a resident on the Tudor estate. That roundabout for a couple of years now, I think there are currently about 17 to 20 lights, street lights, street lamps out. We keep on complaining or raising the issue, but it's 2 years on and still nothing's been done about it.
You said Tudor estate.
Yeah, on the Muller roundabout.
Yeah.
Where Gideon was talking about the H25
I know where
bus
is
stop.
the area.
It's
yeah.
total darkness.
Okay.
It's very badly lit, and there are at least 17 to 20 lights out on that roundabout.
Okay, I will take it because.
From the 290 bus stop.
Yeah.
Under that archway there. Where does it go? Oh. The 290 bus route that goes from Twickenham to Staines, when we're coming this way, to cross at night, at any time it's lethal, but at night it's a miracle that no one's been killed there, because they come round that roundabout from Snaky Lane here at 90 miles an hour, some of them, and you're stuck. There's no crossing there. There really should be something done, because there's more and more traffic, more and more lorries, you know, and there's just nothing to help the pedestrian at all. And if you're slow, like Maggie is with a walker, lethal, absolutely lethal.
Thank you. For the zebra crossing, we already ward councillors and council officers. We are working on it, and hopefully in near future we have a good positive news. And regarding the lights, I don't know about or even the Councillor Gurung as a ward councillor, we don't know, but I will take it and log in the case for it. Thank you. Sorted. Anyone else want to ask us? Yeah. There you go.
Hi, my name's Via. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
we
we
go.
can.
I need to speak up. Okay, so on Victoria Road, there's been new flats been built, and during the pandemic, and I think just after the pandemic, the pavements were widened to make room for children and people to walk on the pavements because there's 2 schools there and quite a number of flats. But during building the new block, all the pavements have now been dug up and are all damaged. Are they all going to be fixed back to the standard that they were? Because now they've all been damaged and there isn't enough guttering on that road now because there'll be flooding. And the road is and the pavements and the road is constantly being dug up to accommodate for pipe work and electrics and whatever they need for the new block of flats. And then they're just doing patch-up jobs. So is it going to be fixed properly?
Thank you, and thanks for bringing this to my attention. Yeah, I will take it as a casework, yeah, and let you know. Thank you. Anyone else want to ask a question from the floor? Where? I can't see it. Okay, yeah.
I've spoken to you about this already, about that
Yeah.
post, but thought I'd bring it to the forum. There's a post at Hereford Road. It's about 3 foot high, solid iron. Every month it gets knocked down about twice. This has been going on for 10 years. I mean, it must be costing them a fortune. I believe it belongs to TfL. You know, I did tell the councillor once about it. That's it, really. I mean, it's right in the corner of the road. I reckon the dust carts run over it and knock it over. Don't know whether that's true or not. But it just seems a waste of money. You know, it's been going down. This month it was down. Then they tarmacked it. And I thought, well, they're not going to do it again. They're not going to have a post there. Then they put a post up. This is this month. I pulled out tonight, and it was down again. And this happens on a regular basis for about 10 years since I lived there. I don't even know why it's there. You have to sort of, turning round it, you go onto the other side of the road, nearly have a crash. So I just thought I'd bring it to your attention.
Yeah, thank you for your question. We already have a chat on this. And
You know
yeah,
about it, do
Yeah,
you?
yeah, I know about it.
Anything being done about it?
Yeah, just send me an email. I said I will
Yeah. Okay, then.
deal with this one.
See what
Thank
happens. Okay.
Anyone else want to ask question from the floor? Yeah. Just give mic.
Well, I probably won't need this one.
No.
I actually live in Feltham, and I got the invitation to come along this evening to this forum. I do feel, I'm wondering whether what is being discussed this evening has any relevance on where I live. I know for Feltham and Hanworth, there's a very fine line between the two. It's probably on your postal, on your postcode, but is there such a thing as a Feltham forum? Sorry to bring this up at this stage.
There is a Bedfonts and Feltham area forum.
Okay.
It was last week, and the next one is on the Hounslow website, but there is a Bedfonts and Feltham area forum.
Because it was posted through my door, this invitation, so I assumed it was something.
Because I think maybe it is the borders of Hanworth
Yes.
and Feltham.
And I'm glad
So,
to be here,
yeah.
let me say. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah.
Thank you.
Brought that up because they didn't put leaflets. Sorry, they actually didn't put leaflets in about the Feltham one. What she's mentioning is the area that I go to as well, and no leaflets went through on that one. No, you didn't, did you? Yeah. But also, because this is a new forum, should there not be a map to show people which area you are actually at. Because that way everybody knows which area you're actually covering in relationship to which forum this is. So there should be actually a big map on the wall somewhere.
Thank you. I will pass on to Thomas. Yep.
Thank you.
Try and answer that question, try and find you. Yeah, really good idea. So I've got a section later on in this agenda to talk about area forum improvements, and that is one of the things that we'll be looking to do. Either a map or a way in which you can put your postcode in, and it will just tell you which one is your area that you go to. So my colleagues and I worked to arrange the leaflets, and we did that by postcode using our technical data system thing. And that tells us which postcodes fall into which ward. So if you've got a leaflet about Bedfont, it's because you live in on Feltham, it's because you live in the Bedfont and Feltham wards. If you got one in Hanworth, then you got one for Hanworth. We also produced some posters that were up in public spaces that had all of the different forums that were there, but I appreciate the point is that if you don't know which area you're in, how would you know which one to go to? So I guess, yeah, we take on board the point about the map. We're trying to do that with our new web pages. And in addition to that, I think if you want to go to the Bedfont and Feltham one, even if you're a Hanworth resident, you are more than welcome to go to any of them. Yeah, yeah, brilliant. I hope that answers your question. But yeah, take on board your comments and look to make improvements. Thanks, really good point.
Thank you, Thomas. Anyone would like to ask a question? No. Okay, thank you. Now we will move on to the next item in agenda and it's a traffic consultation. I hope you have had the opportunity to visit the traffic and transport stall before the meeting and noted that they are moving forward with our transport strategy and want to know your priorities and where you would like to see improvement. I would now like to invite Finn Chappell, Principal Strategic Transport Planner, to give a presentation. Over to Finn.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Chair, for the introduction. My name's Finn. I'm from the Transport Planning team, and I'm here to update on moving forward with our transport strategy. It's great to be here. Lots of discussion about transport tonight, even if there was a few issues raised. And as part of this consultation, we're welcoming feedback on your priorities in your local area going forward to ensure our new strategy is reflective of your needs. So what does the transport strategy do? It sets our ambition for transport in the borough. It sets what actions we as the council are going to take and what we need partners, like we've heard tonight, TfL, to do on our behalf as well. And it also takes into account your local priorities as residents and businesses within the area. So why does it need an update? So the current transport strategy is from 2019. I think lots has changed since then. We've had the COVID pandemic, and local priorities and policies have changed as well. Some things might not have changed, but it's important that we hear our local feedback, and so when we're updating it, we know what local priorities are as well. Internally in the council, there have been changes to council policies, the new One Hounslow Corporate Plan, a focus on health and well-being, and the declaration of the climate emergency back in 2019. We also have a statutory duty to do one, so we must have one by law, but we can shape what that might look like, and it's important, like I'm saying, to have you feed into that process as well. TfL are no longer our major funder. We have to look at other sources for funding transport intervention, whether that's developments that are coming forward or innovative sources such as South Western Railway, who paid for a cycle training hub at Feltham Marinas Park last year. And lastly, and most importantly, it's about refreshing our local knowledge as transport officers about your priorities and what your needs are. So it's reflected in with the transport strategy document itself. So the borough today, a quick snapshot of transport within the borough. So 60% of all boroughs are made by walking, cycling and public transport. That does vary across the borough, where we see less good public transport, more people do use the car. And talking about the car, a third of households don't actually own a car or have access to a car within the borough. So walking, wheeling and public transport are really important as well. Approximately less than a third of the population walk, wheel or cycle for at least 20 minutes a day as well. We've got a target set by the Mayor of London to increase that by 2041 as well. And sadly, over 100 people within the borough of Hounslow do die prematurely because of poor air quality as well. And transport is one of the largest contributors to air quality within the borough. So what I wanted to note, so as part of our approach to updating the transport strategy, we're not starting from nowhere. We've already heard lots of feedback from communities across the borough. We've heard quite recently about better access to public transport, making it easier to go around the borough by bus, train, walking and cycling. Ensured transport and parking facilities are there, and there's provision for those, especially those with disabilities or for carers or parents as well. We also heard during the parking curbside consultation that people are worried about poor air quality and would like to see us take action against that as well. And also people would like to see more street trees where possible as well. I think, yeah, moving on to feedback from Disability and Age Equality Partnership, we've seen feedback around maintenance, quality of surfacing, resting places, and I've heard some of those comments come through this evening as well. And also about driver training as well, and making sure bus drivers are aware of everybody's needs who's using the service. Similarly, for young people, a real focus on better public transport and road safety as well, so lowering speeds too. So what we're trying to aim for with the transport strategy is increase the number of trips that are made by walking, wheeling and public transport by 2041, an increase of 11%, so it's around 50,000 more trips by those modes per day across the whole borough. We're committing to responding to local needs as well, and we're also looking to increase active travel and improve health outcomes as a result of this strategy. We're also looking to reduce the negative effects of transport in the borough, whether that's reducing carbon emissions and swapping to electric vehicles, and improving air quality and resilience to climate change as well. The last point is about working towards achieving Vision Zero, so no one will be killed or seriously injured on the roads as well. We've got a long way to go as the whole capital, and we're working towards that in line with the Mayor. Hopefully go to the next slide as well. So just to say how we're approaching the update as well. We really want to have a clear vision, objectives and targets. The current transport strategy is 150 pages long and is in white and black text. So we want to make it more accessible so people can understand what we're doing, why we're doing it, and how long it's going to be as well. We also want to build on the successes of the work we have delivered, learning lessons where appropriate as well, and outline the challenges and opportunities for the borough as well. Thirdly, we really want to embed a place-based approach, recognising that communities across the borough have different needs and one solution doesn't fit all. So working about local travel, not just about getting to maybe central London and key destinations as well. We also want to continue to build a transport network that supports growth. The borough as a whole is growing and we need to ensure we can continue to support that growth. And there's a stat on the screen about we're estimated around 24% growth by 2041. So it's about how we manage that growth in the borough as well. We also need to be clear on what we as the council are responsible and where other partners have roles for as well. So whether that's Transport for London, South Western Railway or National Highways as well, and how we can influence them to take the actions we want them to do. So I'm here talking tonight because we've got our phase 1 consultation open at the moment. So it's all about understanding your priorities for the transport strategy going forward. There's 4 key asks we've got at this moment in time. One, it's to understand how you travel around the borough at this moment in time for different journeys. What influences how you travel? Is it journey length, cost, type of public transport, ease of parking, for example? Listen to what's important when you move around the borough as well. So are green spaces, well-maintained roads important to you as well? Explore what you would like to see in the borough in the future. What are your priorities for transport? What would you like us to do? And we've heard many today around local issues that we need to take back and provide a response to. And consider what's already working really good at this moment in time and what could work better as well. If we've got good examples where stuff is working well, we can look to replicate it further elsewhere in the borough as well. And so really my ask here is how to get involved with this consultation as well. We've got a Let's Talk Hounslow page, so if you're able to access that, its details are on there as well. It's also got a map, so I've been hearing lots tonight about local issues, and like the Fix My Street map, you can log your priorities as well on that as well. We've been at community hubs over the last month as well, and we are going to be at Hanworth Library this Thursday between 4 and 7 o'clock if you want to come down and speak to a member of the team in further detail. We're at the area forum tonight as well. I'll be here for the rest of the evening as well. We've got a quick questionnaire. It's 8 questions as well. You can either fill it out this evening or you can take it away. We've got a free post envelope and you can have it returned to us if that's easier for you as well. And if there's anything else you would like us to attend to, please do reach out to myself and the wider transport planning team too. And I think this is my second to last slide, and it's just about outlining our timescales going forward as well. So we're in the far left at this moment, phase 1, so it's about understanding your priorities, like I said. This consultation phase will close a week on Sunday the 29th. We'll then collate all that feedback and use it to inform a draft strategy as well. We'll then be coming back out on that with the draft strategy, and we want to be asking there around what have we listened to you, have we understood your priorities, and is the strategy reflective of the feedback you've given us over this first phase as well. We'll then conclude that phase, we'll take it forward, there'll be a final adoption process as well, and then we'll take it forward for implementation and monitoring. And yeah, just a couple of details as well on the screen for you to get in touch as well. But like I said, we've got questionnaires and feedback from there. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Finn. Any question from the audience? Yep.
Hi there, thanks for that, Finn. It's very useful. What do you consider a good response to a consultation? Because I understand that the curbside and parking consultation got just 293 responses, which is a pretty thin response considering the size of the population in the borough.
Thank you for that question. Admittedly, it is a very low number as well. So what we try and do, we have a range of engagement measures. We try and get as many people to respond as possible. But yeah, it is a challenge, and unfortunately, if we only get 200, 300 responses, it is a challenge, and this is why I would really stress, please do get involved and please do talk to us. This is a real opportunity to feed in and shape our strategy. And like I said, we've got a really short questionnaire, so hopefully it's as accessible as possible as well. But it is a challenge for us, I'll acknowledge that.
Thank you. Next question is from Nick.
Probably a thorny question, but Lime bikes. Thank you.
Noted. Noted.
Where I live, Elizabeth Way, Hanworth Park, we had an experimental Lime bike parking bay installed. It was supposed to be for a trial of 6 months, and then there was supposed to be residents' consultation as to whether the bike bay would stay, be moved, or put where the sun don't shine. We're now 5 months out of the 6-month consultation period. The bay's still there. The bikes are either abandoned everywhere in the locality, or suddenly on a Sunday night, 10, 12 or 14 Lime bikes will appear and be stood in the bay, or somebody knocks them all over on a Saturday night and we have to wait till the Tuesday or the Wednesday for somebody to come and stand them all up, because local residents are sick to death of them and fed up with picking the damn things up every time they get kicked over. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Finn, you would like to answer, or you will take it?
I can take that point away and feedback to Lime as well. I wouldn't like to be quoted, but we can get an update on the Lime bikes, and I'm sure it's shared as part of the minutes. Oh, I think Emily has it. There we go. It hasn't come to me.
So
Thanks.
this didn't fully get read out, guys, because there's a lot of information here, but I'm just scanning through it to see if this is something that actually is an update. Okay, so the e-bike scheme is part of Hounslow's curbside strategy, which was approved on the 16th of July 2024, and there's a link to the Cabinet report. So if anybody wants an online copy of this, please contact us. Come and see one of the officers around the room at the end and we'll take your details. This cabinet report recommended that the trial be extended so that data for a full 12-month period can be evaluated in each of the 3 e-bike areas. This report also delegated authority to the Assistant Director of Traffic, Transport and Parking in consultation with the Cabinet Member for Environment and Climate Change to make permanent the ETMOs associated with the bike scheme. Sorry, I don't know what that stands. Go on.
Traffic management order.
The traffic management orders associated with the e-bike scheme. Subject to the satisfactory review of a full 12 months of data from each scheme area, a further review of the e-bike parking bay locations, consultation with ward members and implementation of the amendments set out in the Cabinet report. We've got some next steps here. It just updates on when each bit's happening across Hounslow. So I've got lots of copies of this, guys, so please do take one from me. I didn't want to read all this information out. We've got so many updates today. If you think things are missing, you've got the contacts in the room today. Please come and talk to us. Thank you.
Next question is over there, and then I will come back to you.
No, so I've got it now.
Yep.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Yeah, great. Sorry, can you hear me? Yeah, that's better. So question from a resident that I'm asking on their behalf. The presentation you gave referenced air quality in some detail, and the resident was interested as to whether or not the consultation will take into account air pollution from planes and Heathrow. Basically, the understanding is that that's contributing massively to air quality, and what scope is there for the work that we're doing in the council to tackle that? Okay. And I have one more follow-up, but from a different question, but I'll come back to that later. Sorry, Finn, didn't mean to...
I might not be able to give you a full response. I'm not an air quality expert, but there is an air quality action plan that was published, I believe, earlier this year, that was undertaken by colleagues, and that sets out our response and how we're going to look to address actions from aircraft as well.
Yeah, sorry. So, in other words, what you're saying is that the two bits of work are talking to each other.
Yeah, we all talk together. So we've had a sort of internal working group as we've been doing this work, and it's had representatives from public health, air quality, climate emergency, from a variety of other teams who are leading on these other areas within the council services. So they've all been feeding in. So yes, it's very relevant to transport strategy, so feed it back, please. But yeah, we are engaging with those teams internally.
Great, thank you.
Next one is, I think, the gentleman in the grey jumper over
Yeah,
here.
I can pass. There's one more question over here that I'd like to ask on behalf of a resident as well.
Okay. After that.
Yeah, my name's Eamon Guy. Finn, you might have already answered this question at another time, but the parking bays where you have to pay, at the moment you have to use an app. Is there going to be contactless, because not everyone has a smartphone? Thank you.
It's my understanding that there should be a mobile phone number available to you should you not be able to download the app on those occurrences. I can take that away. Sorry, not addressing your question.
No, not addressing. If you haven't got a mobile phone, you can't park. Whereas if you have I know some councils are now bringing in contactless, which makes it so much easier. That's it.
So on that, sorry, I'll clarify. So we have brought forward a contactless trial at car parks within the borough. I know colleagues are monitoring that as well. Should that be deemed successful, and I don't have the data on me, I think they would be looking to roll it further out. So yeah, sorry, if you don't have a mobile phone at all, you'll have the opportunity to pay. But yeah, we can maybe take that away and get a more detailed update for that.
Yeah, Thomas?
Yeah, just coming again, a question again on behalf of a resident. This resident saw on TV recently that the government said something along the lines of that if the line bike situation isn't sorted with regards to dumping and misusing, then the company would be expected to be got rid of. So that would be a government initiative. Is that being considered as part of the transport strategy to respond to that if it were to come to pass?
I think we would welcome feedback on that as well. I'm not personally aware of any government work on it, but I am aware of TfL doing a lot of work in this area. It's a pan-London issue, and I know they're trying to work with multiple boroughs to bring sort of unification of the schemes, so it's easier for the users, but it also gets rid of the negative effects of such schemes with bikes being abandoned, not parked properly. And that work stream is ongoing at this moment in time. So colleagues who lead on that for the council are feeding into that TfL piece of work, and that will be taken forward at a pan-London level.
Next question is over there from.
It's not actually a question, but I've noticed that Heathrow Airport are now doing some consultations about runway alternation on easterly flights. If you look at their Facebook page or their website, there's some information there, and they're doing some local consultations. But unfortunately, we've been excluded. I haven't seen one that covers our area, so maybe that's something that the forum can take up while we're talking about transport. So they're looking basically. For people who aren't familiar with the operation at Heathrow, is it alternation means a change of runways. So they're looking to make changes so they can operate in an easterly direction off the northern runway. So that means we get some respite from the continual the southern easterly departures.
Thank you. I will pass on to Emily.
Just to let residents know, we do have contacts in Heathrow, and they were invited this evening, but they couldn't come along, unfortunately. I'm not sure whether they're going to talk about that specifically, but they are visiting other area forums. So if you want to make sure that we've got your details, I can chase that up for you, because we do have direct contacts in the Heathrow engagement team. Thanks. Who's next?
Yep. I think last question is from Nick.
Just regarding the Lime bikes again, at an area forum meeting in October last year, Jefferson Nwakioma assured us all that the software had been upgraded and it wasn't possible to abandon and hack the Lime bikes. Well, I now understand that he's moved on and left us with these damn bikes. There appears to be no security on them whatsoever, and they are just abandoned everywhere. So was Mr. Nwakioma just trying to shut me up by saying that the upgrades had been made, or if they were made, they weren't sufficient to stop the hacking and the abandonment of the bikes? Thank you.
I don't think that's a question for you, but go on.
I'll pick that up with colleagues. I think I will say to that deal with Lime. Yeah, I think there have been improvements, but if there's still outstanding issues, yeah, we can take that back.
I think we can take a note from today that we want to ask a Lime rep to come along and talk to the community, because I know that Hanworth really, really want this.
Okay. Okay, I will take last question from the lady.
Thank you. This is probably beyond your remit. Being a Freedom Pass holder, I make full use of public transport whenever I can. And there seems to be very little coordination between the different lines on the Underground and South Western Railway, so that very frequently, I mean, the District line is a complete disaster from Richmond, and that's going to be out for the next 6 weekends, but fortunately they'll be fixed. Unfortunately, at the same time, the Piccadilly line was out this weekend, and to get a really full whammy, South Western Rail don't run any trains through Feltham and Hounslow at a weekend, so you're stuck. I just wondered if the local authorities are able to bring any pressure on them to coordinate and get their acts together, because it's very frustrating.
Yeah, I was caught up myself in the Piccadilly line closure, so I can fully appreciate the challenges it brings. I think this is the nice nature of this consultation, is it's about understanding challenges like that, and whilst it's not in our remit to resolve it, we can then pull to partners, talk to TfL, say that this is not working for our communities and you're leaving them with no choices at the weekend. So I would really encourage everyone, please do feedback as part of this process. If you got a chance tonight, great. If not, we will be out basically for the next 3 months listening to all feedback in that. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Finn, and the audience for your question. Now, I'm not going to take any more questions because of the time limit. So our next item is move on to our community spotlight, where we invite our local community organizations to give an insight into their organization and how you can get involved. I would like to invite 7 Feltham Sea Scouts to speak. Thank you.
Actually started yet? Can you all hear me? Yes. Okay. Can we start, please? Oh, okay. Right, good evening everybody. My name's Mike Parsons and I help with 7th Felsham Sea Scout Group. Oh, whoops, sorry. There's two things I can promise. There'll be a short talk and there'll be no, I'm not asking you to sing any campfire songs at the end. So, anyway, next slide, here we go. Okay, we were founded in 1937 and we met at the, if anybody has an interest in local history, we met at the, what was called the National School in Wilton Parade, opposite the pond. But we moved to subsequent headquarters and we're now in Ludlow Road. Also, our hut is similar design to two other scout groups in Felsham, and we think they came from the big base in Bushy Park. So we've actually had a visitor to a hut who made a study of World War II huts. So odd, but anyway, one big problem for us that we're nowhere near the river, the lake or the sea, so everything has to go by trailer. We have sorry, I keep doing that. We have 2 trailers and 1 van, which makes it a bit tricky. But, you know, basically, to every problem, there's a solution. So we just basically have to get on with things. We've got no choice. So, currently, oh, sorry, here we go. Yeah. So, we, in our scout group, we have approximately 24 in each section. So, we have Beaver Scouts for 6 to 8. Cub Scouts 8 to 10.5, Scouts 10.5 to 14. The next group is called Explorer Scouts, and they meet then a district unit, and they're based at 10th Felton, which is off Bedford Lane. Okay, but we are very pleased to have young leaders who are 14 to 18 who help with every section. Okay. What we offer, right, the big 4 for our meetings, visits, boating and camping are safety, fun, friendship and learning. The Scout Association has changed its motto from Be Prepared, which came from Baden-Powell, to Skills for Life, which I think makes a lot of sense. Okay, for meetings, which are during the week, we emphasise working in teams, games, challenges, quizzes, new and updating skills and craft. Right, our fees. For every section is the same fee. So Beaver Scouts, Cub Scouts and Scouts, they pay £42 per term, which includes all weekday activities. There is a fee for visits and camps, and uniform must be produced by purchase by the parent or carer. For leaders, there may be a fee for visits and camps. Uniform is supplied by the group, and there's no charge for training. We have Scout internal training and training for activities. For example, canoeing and kayaking. Uniform, basically it's very simple. A group scarf, Beaver Scouts and Cub Scouts wear a sweatshirt, and Scouts and leaders wear a blue Sea Scout shirt. Right, scouting misconceptions. Number 1, people say to me all sorts of things about past scouting which no longer occur. But number 1 is scouting is only for boys. Wrong. Boys and girls are welcome to join scouting. Number 2, leaders and group trustee board members are paid. False. Leaders and group trustee board members are volunteers and are not paid. There are paid employees of the Scout Association at county, regional and headquarters, but I don't think I know of any group in the country that pays anybody.
Even the Chief Scout gets paid, he only gets expenses.
I'll mention the Chief Scout. We've actually got a new Chief Scout, whose name is Dwayne Fields, and I think it's a good choice personally. I mean, I didn't actually know his name.
He's already an ambassador as well.
Yeah, but we have the Chief Scout, we have, I think it's 10 ambassadors. Yeah, and 2 of them, interestingly enough, are both a husband and wife. And the wife was in the Olympics. Helen Glover, I think it was. Rowing, yeah.
And who's her husband?
Steve Batchell, yeah. So personally, I think it's a good choice, though I never heard of Dwayne, but what I've read, it seems a good choice. Anyway, this happens to me, not all the time, but a lot, from people of my generation who are probably cubs. When I was a cub, when I was a cub, the part of the meeting involved saying dob and dib. It does seem so, it's such a long time ago, but that's what we did. 1967, which is a long time ago, we say, do our best and do your best. And we're still called Scoutmasters, even to this day, but people of my generation. Okay. Number 4, UK Scouting is exclusive. False. UK Scouting is inclusive. I mean, I could cover that in more detail, but yeah, we welcome everybody. I mean, if people are not in Scouts, young people are not in Scouts, we can't help them. So, oh, and I've added something else. Sometimes people get confused with Sea Cadets, who are in Poplar Road, I think. Yeah, and they serve a similar function, helping young people, but they're part of the Marine Society, and they are more formal than us in regards to uniform and parades, but we're both serving the same purpose. And their CO is an ex-7th Felton Sea Scout, which we felt very proud. Okay, the future of 7th Felton. Right, the long-term future of 7th Felton depends on replacing our hut, which has a limited life. We've had to spend, I think it was £15,000 or £20,000 on repairing, cleaning and sealing the roof. But the big problem is we have a design for headquarters which we're ready to face the environmental challenges of the 21st century and be optimised for boating, camping and weekly meetings. But the bill is huge. We'll never raise that amount of money by our normal fundraising. So all we need is funds, but we need some person who's committed purely, and a team, one person to manage it and a team, purely to raise money for the new headquarters. But we must never give up. Okay, we are short of people in our group. Right, the most urgent one is a group trustee board chair, which some people who've been in Scouts, they might have known it as a group executive committee. We need group trustee board members, and we need a separate team for fundraising and social events. The whole structure of management in the Scout group is changing. So the Scout trustee board has a limited role purely as trustees, so they're not responsible for fundraising, building the van, camping equipment and boating equipment. So things are changing. Challenging, but we have to deal with it. Okay, and as a Sea Scout group, we would always like more people in our water activities team. The more people we've got, the more people can get on the water. So, well, thank you for listening. And I will be staying to the end, so any questions you ask me at the end. And we have a website. It's quite generic. It's not very specific to 7th Felton, because there are problems with having pictures of our young people on the website. So we tend not to do that, or don't do that at all. We have private Facebook groups, but on the public one, I don't think there's any pictures of young people. So, and that is something we were very aware of. Well, 2 big things really, safety and safeguarding. Basically nothing else matters. Yep, so that's it. Job done. Oh, I've finished.
Thank you, Mike. Any question from audience? No?
Oh, good.
In this case,
It's very bad or very good.
I've got a question.
Okay,
I might have missed it, Mike, but is there a link for people to, if people wanted to support you and sponsor you towards any of the thing, the bus or whatever it is you need? I think you should. Very quickly.
With the ULEZ, we scrapped our van and received £6,000 for scrappage. We'd saved £7,000. We spent £13,000 in total. We used it twice, and then we had problems with misfiring of the injectors. It's diesel engine, and cut long story short, we've had to have a new engine. And we spent about the same amount, no, I think it's 10,000, 14,000 on the van. It's our biggest ever financial, well, I won't say what I think it is, but since I've been at our Scout group since 1st of January 1969, that's our biggest financial... Sorry?
No, I think that's a good point. But do you have a way that people can donate? Yeah. If you make one, send it me. We'll talk about it afterwards. But I think, and if people want to get involved in volunteering, kids that are looking for something to do, reach out to Mike, reach out to us as community development officers. Let's get more kids into guiding, scouting, sea cadets, whatever it may be. Loads, all of them. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Over to you, Chair. Oh, sorry, Mike. There we go. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Seven Sea Scouts. And we now move to agenda item 8, which is a presentation on changes to the area forum, which is presented by Thomas Allen, Community Development Manager.
Great, thank you very much, Chair. Hello, everyone. Thank you ever so much for having me at the forum. For those of you who haven't met me yet, my name is Thomas. I'm the Community Development Manager here at the Council, and Emily and her colleagues are my team. We're responsible, our job is to work with residents and with community groups to identify local priorities, aspirations and needs, and then work with the community to help find solutions to them, and in the process of doing so, support our councillors as community leaders. My team has many functions to it, but one of the main ones is hosting and supporting the chair to host area forums. And over the past couple of years, we've been trialling out different things, different tweaks, changes, etc. And we've been embarking on a project to make area forums more meaningful, relevant, and inclusive to residents. So there was a question on feedback forms earlier. First off, thank you ever so much to all of those of you who have given feedback, whether that's through the forms or through conversations with my staff through email or by talking on the night. It's been really, really helpful to gather all of that information, good and bad, and it's largely informed the suggested improvements that we've recently put to chairs and we'll be slowly introducing across each of the area forums in time. Just a quick note on the feedback, there's some pretty cool things to talk about. So first off, that on average, of those of you that had filled out feedback forms, 80% said that, well, over 80% said that the forums were good or very good, which is fantastic to hear, which is brilliant, thank you. In addition to that, we've been told that the marketplace element that we had in the other room and I've had at other forums is very popular. And there's a desire for more of that type of thing with more engagement and conversations and networking at forums. We've also heard that residents would like to see more involvement from community groups like the Scouts and others. You've had the Mulberry Centre here today as well, Kempton Steam Museum, etc. More of that kind of thing. And that the Area Forum Action Plan, where it's been trialled, I think we've had a version of that here, has been very popular and residents would like to see more of it, which is great. In terms of what will be improved, so we're trialling a new welcome desk experience. Hopefully when you walked in, you had someone to sign you in, ask you why you were here, guide you to the right sorts of services and community groups. We've also introduced more ways to ask questions. So my team were in the middle of the room where there's a question drop box for those of you that want to ask anonymous questions. As you saw earlier, you can also approach myself or any member of my team, and we're more than happy to ask questions on behalf as well. We're also developing new web pages. I'll go back. New web pages, they're in the process of being built at the moment. So for those of you who want to go online and ask questions there and then, rather than wait for 3 months till the next forum, you can do that, and we'll let you know when they're ready. We've taken the action plan. It's worked really well, and we've made some enhancements to it, and I'll go through those in a bit more detail in a second. We'll also be introducing themed area forums, and this sort of happens quite naturally anyway. Like tonight, we've kind of had a bit of a traffic theme, but we'll be introducing that, and you may have noticed my team earlier on in the marketplace trying to get ideas from residents as to what types of topics do you want to see covered in the future. And again, I'll explain more about this in a bit. Another very exciting one is the introduction of community steering groups, which is optional for chairs. So these are opportunities for residents, community groups, partners even, to all work together to support and advise the chair on how to run an area forum. Finally, we'll be seeing a much greater focus on the community, with more community groups in the marketplace, but also communities taking part on the agenda like we've seen tonight. In terms of what will not change, first off, the open forum. It's by far the most popular element of all of the forums, and I think captures probably the essence of it, that ability for residents to ask to ask whatever questions they want to ask, and likewise the role of the chairs and the vice chairs and the councillors in guiding and managing the meeting. So I'm now going to go through the big ticket changes, I guess, starting with the Area Forum Action Plan. So what is an Area Forum Action Plan? Well, it's an idea for us to explore ideas and address concerns in the community, a way for the community, the council and its partners to come together, to work together, to find solutions to those problems. It's a tool for councillors as community leaders, but also a tool for the community to hold the council to account. What it's not, or what it won't be, is a list of unachievable, unclear actions. There's no point having a list of stuff on there that will never, ever get done. Likewise, it won't be a list of actions that don't have support from those that would be involved in it, whether that's the community or those that would deliver on the action. It also won't be a list of items that are business as usual. This is stuff that council services or partners should just be doing anyway. We have other mechanisms for those. Or a replacement for the casework that we saw even earlier today, i.e. personal issues that residents have and would like to personally go to the councillors with to carry forward. And finally, it's not a replacement for petitions or complaints. We have processes for those, and the team are more than happy to guide you to the right places to do those sorts of things. So how does the action plan work? Well, we've sort of at the moment, we've got a sort of like an action tracker, I guess, but under the new system that we'll be launching the next forum, it will start with a resident having an idea about an improvement that they want to make to their area. When they have that idea, they'll be able to go online. Again, when those pages are ready, we'll communicate or get in contact with Emily or myself or any of the other members of the team, and we'll talk it through with you. You can also speak to your councillors. We'll then have a think about all the different services, partners, or different community groups that might need to be involved and help translate that into something that's achievable. Once that's done, we'll bring it back to the forum and it will be presented, and residents will have the opportunity to ask questions, throw their support behind that idea, challenge it, or get involved in some way in the next steps. When that's at the forum, the chair will then allocate a ward councillor as an action champion, and that action champion will be responsible for pulling all the different people that are involved in delivering that action together and making sure that it happens, reporting progress back to the forum. Residents will be able to ask questions and view and track progress, either, again, online or at the forum themselves, or by speaking to councillors or members of staff. And then eventually, we hope very quickly, those actions are achieved and they're publicised and shared and celebrated at the forum. So that's the action plan. The themed area forums is the next kind of major change, and we're trialling this at the moment, actually. So area forums will now move to be organised according to themes, which will allow us for a bit more of a meaningful and deeper dive on some key topics. We will still have a wide range of services in attendance like we've had tonight. As I said, the area forum, open forum isn't going anywhere, so it's not going to be, we're not going to have focus on, say, traffic at the expense of everyone else. There will still be council services and partners available to come along. And communities will have the ability to influence what themes are selected. So we trialled this a little bit tonight. In terms of how it will work, there are 4 area forums in a year. They happen quarterly, and the first one starts in the summer, although we're trialling the selection of themes for the next 2 area forums today. Residents will be able to suggest the themes either by speaking to officers like they could today. We're also introducing an online element, or you can just simply speak to one of your councillors about ideas that you have. The chairs will then be presented with a long list, which they will then talk about at the first of those summer rounds of forums, and then get input from the community at the forum to make a decision on what theme should be selected. Sorry, I'm whizzing through because I'm very conscious of time, Chair. Community steering groups is the next kind of major thing. So what are they? They're informal groups of residents or local representatives or community groups that have a particular interest in the theme that's selected or chosen. They're a way for the community to support the chair to plan and organise and possibly even deliver the forum. And they're also a means to support active participation from the groups that they represent. So next time we'll have some scouts helping us out with some of the forum organising delivery, perhaps. What they're not is a replacement of the core officer groups, and my team will still be on hand to support residents and councillors, nor will these community steering groups be formally constituted groups with power over the forum. That very much still sits with the chair. In terms of what a steering group could do, it's brand new. We're probably going to get this wrong. It won't work very well initially until we trial it a couple of times. But what we'd be looking to the community groups to do is to recommend agenda items that we could cover on a particular theme, maybe recommend services or organisations they think would be good to attend the forum, and interestingly suggest possibly the best format in which to have the forum. So at the moment we have the informal marketplace at the beginning, then we have this kind of Q&A section afterwards. Maybe it could be done differently, but it'd be interesting to explore that as a group. And they could also play a role in the event itself. So you would have seen one of my staff greet you at the front door and show you around. Why not get the community involved in some way too? Right, if there's time, Chair, I'm more than happy to take questions on the key improvements suggested today.
Any question from the floor? Right.
Just a quick question. Is it on? Yeah. Okay. When Josie takes the minutes and somebody asks a question, does that go on the action list or matters arising for the next agenda?
Yep. You can, Ellen, you will answer.
Okay, I'll have a stab and then Josie can tell me that I've answered it wrong and correct me. Yeah, so the clerk takes the minutes, so all the questions that are raised are noted down, and after each session there's a debrief with one of my officers, the clerk and the chairs, where we'll go through to make sure that every question that's asked gets followed up. The key difference between those sorts of questions that are raised versus the action plan is that some of those questions are raised might be personal casework for councillors to deal with. They might be business as usual things or information that's important just to be heard and be shared. They might not be about achieving a collective action together in the community. It's really those last bits. The action plan is for a way of identifying a local priority or a local aspiration or need, something that is concretely deliverable in a community, and then working together as a group to think about how that could be achieved. So it's not really an action tracker as such, it's more of like a project plan. Jyoti, do you want to add anything about the questions element?
Yeah, so while they are updates of questions asked at the previous meeting, rather than put them in matters arising, that they will come up as, action plans, or we'll have an item where we'll do the responses to the questions that were asked that we have a response for, or that would have a reply, rather than which is matters arising, but just not straight follow-up of the minutes.
Okay, but a question would only be in one, either matters arising or the action plan. Yeah. Sorry, the question would either appear in the action list or the matters arising.
Yeah, so what we're saying in future is if you have an idea about a particular action that you would like to see happen within your community, in the first instance you would come and speak to one of my officers or a councillor, and we would help you decide what the best course of action is. If it's something that we could work on together, we would look to get that on the action plan and invite you to come along and speak to the forum and see if we can get a councillor to act as an action champion. If it's a question that could be sorted out as business as usual, or as maybe a complaint, or is just a question that you would have to ask, we would go through the usual channels available at the forum to get those answers. I hope that makes sense.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yeah, question over there.
Right, Eamon Guy. Mike, would it be possible, because throughout this meeting you've said various websites, would it be possible to have a sheet of A4 paper which we could pick up with just a brief outline and the web page? Because we haven't got any desks to write on, and it's very difficult to write the websites down.
Yeah, it's a really, really good point. And that's something that we're looking to do with the new website. So you might have heard Finn earlier talk about a Let's Talk Hounslow page for the consultation. That's the council's sort of like main mechanism for doing engagement. And what we'll be doing in our team is working with other colleagues to create a page for Hanworth. So that will be your one-stop shop to go to for all of the information. So anything to do with the agenda, any further links to consultations, officer contact, all that sort of stuff will be just in that one place. And hopefully it will be a bit more interactive. But we're still working on that at the moment. So as soon as that's ready, we'll communicate that via various channels to raise awareness and certainly bring it to the next forum. Thanks.
Any question from the floor? From members? Okay. In this case, I would like to thank you, Thomas Allen. We now have some update on the progress of issues previously raised. I would like to invite Councillor Alan Joseph, starting with Hanworth Village. Over to Councillor Joseph.
Thank you, Chair. Hello, everyone. The first update with regard to the action plan that we have is about the Bear Road Presenton. The present improvements at Bear Road and Swan Road shops begin to move forward. Owing to the previous consultant over pricing a previous proposal, this was stalled. You may have seen the plans from Zaid Norman from Property Projects team today during our marketplace. The next stages are community engagement and consultations. We look forward to sharing the dates for this soon and excited for the changes to come at Bear Road, which have been long awaited by councillors and the community. And the next one, with regard to the speeding, signage and camera request, Green Lane. Met Police for Hanworth Village continue to plan further speed checks for areas requested by residents over the last few months. So London Borough of Onslow Traffic Team raised this request with our Head of Road Safety and Transport Planning, who asked for the location to be added to our list of road safety requests for further consideration. It's not on the list, but isn't on the program for 24 to 25, but this is in the list. So that said, as the program had already been agreed at the time of adding the item onto our list, the team can consider this again if funding becomes available. In the meantime, they also raised a request with our network management team to ask if we can carry out an extra speed survey on Green Lane to confirm the actual speeds, which will help us understand if further interventions are needed. That said, from the Met Police, we have already done the speed check for the Bear Road and the Nallard Road, Linden Bennett School, and also in the Onslow Road. So we are doing more speed check, and also we are planning to do 2 per month for the next 3 months. That's on the speeding, signage, and the camera request. The next one on the update is about the bollards and crossing request. The community have given some great feedback on the successful installation of the bollards. We are aware that a handful of residents are inquiring if we can have more planters in the space too. Accessibility will have to be considered, as well as land ownership, as the payment belongs to the landowner, not Land Borough Funds Law. This is still in progress. The crossing remains a costly ask that traffic have added to their consideration list for future schemes. Budget is not allocated to this. Councillors will continue to ask for this in Hanworth. And one final update about the Hanworth picnic. So I would like to highlight about the Hanworth picnic. It's a kind of reflection about the Hanworth Carnival. So residents came to know each other and extended their support to one another while the children engaged in free sports activities and games. The children enjoyed the animal encounters, beautiful dance performance. I really appreciate the effort from our residents, as well as the support from our Hounslow Council Community Development team. And really it is appreciated by all the residents. Thank you. Yeah, that's coming up next. Over to you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Allen. Now we will move on to the Hanworth Park update. Over to Councillor Vishnu Gurung.
Thank you, Chair. Right, we've got the Portland Brook update for the Hanworth Park Ward. Since the forum in March, we have successfully met with the Environment Agency on 2 occasions. We visited the Portland Brook in 2 areas and assessed Portland Brooks and the flow issues. The Environment Agency, EA, have contacted other partners for area of land that the river may have been affected by this, include Heathrow and Thames Water. The Environment Agency are working with the residents in the local area and those from Pelham History Group. With the local knowledge and the awareness of the river, pre and post local development to try and understand why the flow issues have occurred. At the present, the visit have been informative, and the most recently the EA have updated us that they are in conversation with the partners for the Portland future support. This is complex multi-agency issue which may take time to unpack and solve. We will continue to update residents and anyway interested in joining our future work. For more awareness on this, please contact the councillor or Emily. Then we will carry on from there, but it is not at close the Portland Brook Act, and this is taking off the action plan main on this list. But however, council are working behind the scene with the local community group. That's our update. And we also have the DPD van parking on the Forest Road estate. That also come to complete. A workshop with community to discuss the proposed and the comes up suggestion moving forward, and the collaborative approach was successful at March forum. These reasons follow us to improve the strong data of the change to DPD. Continue to have good working relations with the DPD should any issue occur again in the future. Thank you. That is all from the Hanworth Park Ward update on the last action. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Gurung. Next item in agenda is any other business considered urgent. Okay. Yeah. Mike.
quick item, AOB. A quick item for AOB? Yeah, okay. I don't know if you're familiar with the area between Hounslow Road to the left of the entrance to the crematorium, going towards the, past the old sewage pits, going towards the, what was the Martian Yards. Well, I've been for a couple of walks this year. First it was with Spelthorne Natural History Society, which was led by Philip Cribb, who's somebody, some of you may remember Peter Cribb, who's a superintendent, yeah. And he's a sort of employee for Kew. I think he's a world expert on orchids. But anyway, very interesting walk. And we found that the many varieties of butterflies and insects. And it turned out this is the most diverse area in Middlesex for butterflies. The second walk was with Feltham History Group, led by a member of the Pevensey Green Gym, which is not actually like a normal keep fit gym, but it's keeping fit by doing conservation work. And on the second walk, we walked towards, which I didn't even know existed, it was basically, imagine the tunnel that you used to be able to walk through from
Cavalry Barrack.
40 acre tunnel. Well, yeah, I mean, used to be able to walk through there, or in my case, when I was a naughty boy, I drove a motorbike through there. And anyway, but you can actually walk from Pevensey Road through to Hounslow Heath, if you can find the entrance. And I never knew that. I thought it was I was impressed, put it that way. It was a good 2 walks. Anyway, that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, Emily?
Sorry, Gary put me on. I just wanted to say that's really interesting. What might be helpful is if anybody's got the information on when the next walks are, so we can discuss that afterwards, Mike, but we could circulate those with the minutes, and then if anyone's interested in joining those walks in the future, that's a really cool thing for people to get involved in. So thank you for raising that. Yeah. So maybe we could just make a note if we can get that in Hounslow Matters or Evolve. Jyoti. Just make a note. If we can ask Hounslow Matters to put that kind of information in, that'd be great.
Thank you, Mike. It's a positive news. Next item is date of the next meeting. The day is scheduled for 4th of December 2024 and venue to be confirmed. Thank you to everyone for attending, and I hope to see you all at the next area forum. Please remember to fill in the feedback forms provided. Thank you.
Gary. I'm going to jump over. Thank you, guys.